Here's an intriguing tweet from a Tory councillor who's told our producers that she wishes to remain anonymous, but she tweeted out earlier today, "Hey, Nadim Zahawi, why am I not allowed to tell people in my ward that the 155 plus asylum seekers housed in a 4-star country house hotel nearby have twice weekly GP clinics at the hotel? Hashtag councillors silence. Twice weekly GP clinics. Fantastic. The NHS is back to doing house calls, but only if you're a, quote, asylum seeker living in a 4-star country house hotel. I think most of us assume when someone has the poor taste to mention that you, the taxpayer, are paying millions of pounds a day to house asylum seekers, that they're all staying in Motel Fleabaggo round the back of the freight yards, or the Crapola Lodge, second turn off the mini roundabout, head toward the industrial estate. But as we reported a week ago, they're now being put up at luxury country house hotels such as the Grade 2 listed Stoke Rochford Hall in Lincolnshire. Look at this place. It is absolute. Look at that place. That's where you get off the dinghy at Folkestone, and next thing you know, you're in a Grade 2 listed building having tea in the conservatory. Is that just an isolated incident? Apparently not. We now learn His Majesty's government wanted to buy out Camelot Castle at Tintagel on the north coast of Cornwall for a whole year. This, if anything, is even more spectacular, as you may have just seen on Nigel's show. They wanted to buy it for a full year in order to fill it full of Channel migrants. These guys who just came across that pathetic English Channel would now get to gaze out over the full Atlantic. Apparently the plan was to give Ahmed the East Tower Junior Suite. Oh, that's very nice, isn't it? Look at that. And he's got like those corner window views all over the spectacular Devon countryside when he rouses himself from his four-poster. While Bashir would have, that's for Ahmed, that one. Bashir would have to make do with the standard four-poster room with sea view and jacuzzi. Fortunately, as you just heard on Farage, the owner of Camelot Castle, John Mappin of the famous Mappin and Webb Jewellers, decided to turn down HMG's generous offer of a year's dosh because he thought it wouldn't be good for the neighbourhood. So Ahmed and Bashir will have to take tea with an ocean view. Let's have a look at that Camelot Castle. Oh, look at that. I love that. Have they got the thinly sliced sandwiches, and they got the tea cakes there? Oh, a glass of champagne as well. I'm afraid, though, Ahmed and Bashir are going to have to take afternoon tea with an ocean view somewhere else, maybe in a country house hotel near your village. Near your village. Do you have a country house? Oh, sure. You might have a house, but you don't have a country, do you? Not really, not under this nutso policy, not if 1,000 asylum seekers, got to keep doing the scare quotes, asylum seekers a night can just walk into your country. Here they come. They get to be put up at your expense in a Grade 2 listed Lincolnshire stately home with complimentary twice weekly visits from a general practitioner. If you don't know what a general practitioner is, it's like a Zoom call with legs. It can walk about and interact with you. It has a dangly stethoscope at the front that it can use to examine your body in person. Well, not you, obviously. You're not an asylum seeker, but you do get to pay for the hands-on medical care they get, but you can't get. So I thought you might be interested in the subject. What can you do? You, the loser citizen of the United Kingdom, what can you do to help these refugees fleeing the horror and devastation of war-torn France? It's a terrible situation across the Channel. Only the other day, violent warlords seized Andrew Neil's spot on the nude beach at Saint-Tropez. The whole thing is unravelling over there. So how do you play your part to make things better for these fine, upstanding asylum seekers? Well, you could do the responsible thing and get this month's booster shot. because as this Buckinghamshire doctor's practice helpfully puts it, please support your local GP practice. Vaccination income is vital to the surgery. So why not do your vaccination income is vital to the surgery, so why not do your bit for Britain and get an extra 2 or 3 of the COVID jabbers. That way the GPs of England will get more vaccination income and be able to expand their house calls to asylum seekers from twice a week to 3 or 4 times a week, which means that Ahmed and Bashir will be in tip-top shape and rude health when they get bored of Darjeeling and cucumber sandwiches every afternoon and decide to check out the attractions at the local primary school. It's great news if you're an asylum seeker, because this land is truly a 5-star asylum, where the Royal National Lifeboat Institution will ferry you from the waters of a foreign jurisdiction, an advanced society, a G7 member, one of the big 5 permanent members at the UN Security Council. The RNLI will, quote, rescue you from France and deliver you to the express check-in for the United Kingdom. It's a 2-stage process. First, Dover, where you land, and then Dover Soul, washed down with a decent claret at a Grade 2 listed stately home. Have asylum seekers ever sought a more bounteous asylum? We are governed by madmen, and the only choice at the next election is the even more insane party, who are now 26 points ahead, according to the latest poll. If you're peering closely at that graph and wondering how the violent revolutionary party is doing, well, as George Orwell remarked long ago, there is no turbulence left in England. Let me know what you think about this insane asylum seekers policy. GBViews at gbnews.uk. Last week, the operators of the UK's electricity supply warned us to be prepared for 3-hour power outages this winter to prevent the collapse of the national grid. So this show might not be running on selected winter evenings because even though you put a shilling in the meter, they're not going to give you any power. The Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster didn't like that kind of talk, and he says relax. Headline from The Guardian. Nadeem Zahawi claims UK winter blackouts are extremely unlikely. On past form, then, I take it that 3-hour blackouts are extremely unlikely, but 4-hour blackouts, that's a whole other issue. We are governed by elites. You'll be familiar with the old joke about the guy who takes his shirt in to be dry cleaned and the fella behind the counter says, "Certainly, sir, that'll be a week on Thursday." And the customer goes, "But it says 24-hour dry cleaners." "That's just the name of the shop, sir." Likewise, when it comes to Chris Whitty, Patrick Vallance and all the other knights and dames who afflict us, elites is just the name of the shop. 3 years of elite technocrat government has screwed almost the entire Western world. The same incompetent elites have now moved on to shutting down fertilizer plants all over Europe in order to reduce the use of nitrogen in farming. Dutch farmers have been pushing back, so their government is cracking down. Up to 600 farmers will be compelled to get out of the farming business and sell all their land to the Dutch state.